Welcome to 3 Minute Gestalt. This is Unit 32 on Gestalt and organizations. So Gestalt is very useful not only as a psychotherapy, but also in group context and certainly in different kinds of corporate contexts. Because Gestalt, being a holistic philosophy, being grounded in field theory, we're able to deal with complexity, we're able to deal with many different inputs without needing to reduce them down and analyze them, but hold them all together. And a lot of the Gestalt elements are very relevant, for instance, to management. So there's a classical Gestalt book called Authentic Management, applying principles of how within a work context, how can you be authentically yourself? How can you apply principles of working with awareness, for instance, your own awareness or awareness of other people in a workplace? And the Gestalt awareness cycle has also been used a lot in corporate context to look at because you see, the awareness cycle is not just something that's relevant to individuals. Sure, I'm feeling cold, so I'm become aware that, I need to do something about it, get some energy. I go get a jumper, put it on, and then I relax and go back to what I'm doing. It's a very simple example of the awareness cycle on a personal level. But we can talk about the awareness cycle, couples, families, and organizations. So groups of people go through the awareness cycle, and groups of people also get stuck at different places, whether it's the identification of a need, whether it's the mobilization of energy to fulfill that need, whether it be choice making, whether it be contact, whether it be we call post-contact, which is finishing a cycle and celebrating and letting go so we can move on to the next cycle. So all this Gestalt analysis of how awareness works is very useful and applicable to organizations. We have the Gestalt experiment, which it can be very useful working with groups and working creatively. I ran a retreat some time ago with a faculty of university which was taught naturopathy, and there were many different personalities and sort of different philosophical approaches in the faculty, and they went on a retreat, and I facilitated that and used many Gestalt processes to do so. For instance, I got them all to build sculptures that represented, with different creative materials, that represented how they saw the faculty, and each little group did a completely different one, and then they talked about that, and I got them to embody different elements and then dialogue between different people. So a lot of the creativity and playfulness and experimentation in Gestalt can be applied on these corporate levels. We can also apply Gestalt in terms of thinking about field theory, thinking about multiple causality, because people tend to drop into linear thinking, and field theory opens us up to being able to embrace a much more complex understanding of causality. So we can broaden perspectives, we can broaden conversations using field theory. Field theory also offers us a lot in terms of being able to see at the same time structure and how that influences people, and see the field as process, for instance. Field theory helps us understand very much context, and organizations are about context in many ways, the context of the environment the organization is in, as well as the particular field configuration of that organization, the flavor of it, the culture of it, as it's often called. But we're not just doing an analysis of it, we're doing a felt sense of what does it feel like to be in that culture, and then reflecting that awareness back to people. That's another example of an application of Gestalt.